Ready to go to battle. Good evening, good evening, good evening, Titan Nation. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into a brand new edition of Titans and Truth. I'm your man, Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, and we're going to have a great show tonight and definitely compliments to another great WWE theme. That is the Drew McIntyre theme. I think it's called Gallantry. You know, I kind of like that beat a bit because it kind of makes you feel like you're going to battle. Makes you feel like you're going to war. And, you know, that was something that we saw in the Super Bowl. What's up, K-True? You know, we saw a Super Bowl happen this past Sunday. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And then, of course, you got some big news with the Titans, of course. There was a press conference where they introduced, basically the press conference the first time for Arthur Smith speaking, as well as Dean Pease speaking as well to the press for the first time in 2019 and everything. So we'll definitely talk about that. Get your thoughts on what you may have heard from Arthur Smith, and of course with Dean Pease coming back. So that's something definitely to look forward to. So definitely in for a very good show tonight, and we're going to definitely have some fun. So make sure y'all come on in here. And what's up, Juan and Only? How's it going? Make sure y'all share this out. Definitely make sure you share this out to everybody. There should be a arrow that's pointing to your right. There's like a little arrow at the bottom of the screen. It'll say share. So you can share this show out as it's going and everything. So you can share this out, you know, whether it be on your Facebook page, on your Twitter, on your Google or anything like that. You could definitely share it out. And so definitely going to have a lot of fun. So let everybody chime in here for just a moment, and we're going to definitely get right into the Super Bowl. So come on in. Be just a sec.
Arthur Smith is the new offensive coordinator for the.
So yeah, glad everybody is here with us and everything. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this show, and let's talk about this Super Bowl right quick. Them Patriots won again. I'm not very happy about the outcome of the Super Bowl. And, you know, it was a 13-3 win for the New England Patriots. They get their sixth Super Bowl championship in 9 tries in the last, 18 years. They've been in almost 10. They've been in 9 Super Bowls in 18 years and have won 6. That's crazy. It is crazy how they have been to the Super Bowl that many times and has won that many. What's up, Jeff? What's up, Alan? How's it going? You know, they've won that many. So, I mean, that is a major accomplishment in and of itself. So, I mean, it was a great defensive battle. I liked it. I liked that it was a defensive battle, even though the game itself to me was boring as all get out. I know I was I was telling my wife and I was telling some other people on Facebook, I said, I could have went back to sleep for this Super Bowl. Really, I woke up to watch this, and I was originally going to have a Super Bowl party, so I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because I didn't have to let my friends witness a bore fest that it was. But that's my fan side talking as far as that. But what's up, Pete? How's it going? I forgot to mention that, so I appreciate that. Tighten up. All is good with me. I agree. But as far as the game itself, if you were looking for a tight defensive battle where it's like just good defensive play, this was the game for you. Now, as some of y'all know, I'm a defensive guy. You know, I used to play defense in high school. So I have a love for playing defense. And this type of game was a very good game defensively. Even Dean P said it in his press conference. He said, oh, it was amazing. He loved it. He just thought it was gorgeous that this game went this way. He loved it being a defensive battle, basically. So, yeah, the ratings for the Super Bowl were down, and this was probably one of the lowest scoring Super Bowls in history. But as far as the actual game on the field, I mean, you know, both defenses playing extremely well. Wade Phillips, for the most part, for the Rams, he schemed up well against the Patriots. They did a very good job, but the Rams did have a job stopping their running game. Sony Michel, James White, and even Burkhead, they kind of carved up that Rams run defense pretty well. I believe they ran, I think they combined for 145 yards, maybe even more in the game. And then, of course, Julian Edelman, as some have come to call him Julian the Juice Edelman, you know, from him having PEDs. You know, he had, 11, I think he had 10 catches, 170 yards. He won the MVP trophy. And then, of course, wasn't until like the fourth quarter where the Patriots offense got going and, got some nice runs from Michelle, got that nice pass to Gronk, and that set up the touchdown. So that was the game's only touchdown. And then, of course, Stephon Gilmore shut the door. And let me mention this about this game. It was a masterpiece as far as Belichick, playing against Sean McVay. Let's just say Sean McVay even said it. He got out coached, and he did. I mean, in this instance, the master destroyed the student. And I think Sean McVay, he learned a lot of lessons from Bill Belichick on Sunday night of how to be a championship coach. And the Rams are going to be a team in the NFC to be reckoned with. They're going to be back in a Super Bowl, I think, much sooner rather than later as years go by. So this might not be the last time you've seen this matchup with the Rams and the Patriots, at least while Golden Boy is still in the league. And of course, according to him, he says there's no way he's retiring. He's going to come back and play. Again, he wants to play until he's 45. I hope he retires much sooner, but he got his 6th ring. So it is what it is. Hey, congrats. I don't really care. Anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about was Jared Goff. Jared Goff looked awful in this football game. Jared Goff looked like he had never played a game of football in his life Sunday night. He looked like a rookie quarterback. And I'm thinking to myself, if this is the Jared Goff the Rams are going to get the whole time, then the Titans did the right thing by trading back and not picking him themselves. Because Jared Goff was awful. He looked like he saw a deer, looked like a deer in headlights. He looked like, he didn't see none of his throws. There was a play where he ran, he was trying to evade pressure, and he ended up running out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. And for any of you that don't know, if a quarterback runs out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage, that counts as a sack. So, I mean, the defense of the Patriots, masterful job at shutting down that Rams potent offense. Brandon Cooks had a couple of catches here and there. That offensive line got ran over. C.J. Anderson couldn't do anything, and Todd Gurley, where was he? I mean, I knew that he had a knee injury that he was dealing with, but obviously that knee injury was major because they didn't play him at all. And if I'm Todd Gurley, if I'm dressed and I'm ready to go, I'm kind of mad they didn't play me. But I guess they were like, you know what? We're going to go with the hot hand with CJ. But CJ didn't really do much against that defense. And that's why they only scored 3 points. They were held to their lowest point total, I think, ever since they moved to LA or ever since Sean McVay has been coach. So, masterful job by the Patriots. And the Rams look like they were a team that hadn't been to the Super Bowl in a very long time, which would be, which would be 18 years. That's the last time the Rams were in the Super Bowl. So, it was a game, while the Rams were trying to play checkers, the Patriots were playing chess. And they're one of the best at playing that particular type of game. So, as much as I hate to say this, and I'm trying my best not to throw up when I say this, but congratulations to the New England Patriots for winning their 6th Super Bowl. Overrated. Just pitiful. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry, I got to drink some water. Got to get that taste out of my mouth because that was just bad. K-True coming in saying, I only watched the game's final 3 minutes. I understand. I wish I didn't watch any of it, to be perfectly honest. Joseph says, I hope everybody is safe out there. The emergency sirens are on here in Goodlettsville. Oh, yeah, that's right. For those of y'all that are in the Nashville area or in the Middle Tennessee area, please do be safe. There is a flash flood warning. There is a flash flood warning out right now, I believe, until midnight. So the rain is coming down pretty good if you're in the Middle Tennessee area. If you're in Nashville, here in Laverne, Smyrna, Murfreesboro, Goodlettsville, Hendersonville, Clarksville, Dixon, just be safe. Be careful out there. Hopefully everybody's watching this from home and everything with that. If you're watching at work, be safe. Be safe. Don't get in trouble because you can't blame me for it. So everybody be careful out there. So thank you for that, Joseph. I appreciate that. And at the end of the show for the Blue Bombshell, some stuff happened to me today on the roadways, and I got to go off. I got to vent. So that's going to be the Blue Bombshell. I'm going to vent on Nashville traffic. I have to do it. If I won't, who will? Because it's getting ridiculous. It has been ridiculous, but I got to vent about it, especially what happened to me today as I went to my regular, 9 to 5 job. So we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Let's see, look at some more comment. Lil Kilo said, I wanted the Patriots to win because the Rams beat us in 2000 and Belichick is from Nashville, but the game was trash. One and Only says, Patriots, I hate them. They so good. Don't worry, though. We Titans going to get us one. I don't know when, but we will. Darn it. I like that, Juan. I like that. I'm hoping for that, too. I mean, I think we are going to get one. When, I don't know, but I think we will. And Lil Kilo said the halftime show was crap. Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to the halftime show. I didn't really care. I will say, though, Halle and Chloe, they killed it with America the Beautiful and the lovely legend Miss Gladys Knight. I tell you, if I wasn't married and she was about 25 years younger, I would wipe her up real quick. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing around, y'all. But Gladys Knight, she did her thing with the national anthem. It was beautiful. With the halftime show, I didn't really care for that. Big Boy came on a little bit, and I was cool with that, but I didn't really pay attention to the halftime show. K-True said, Eric Dixon said Todd Gurley told him he was 100%. Craig Moore said, I fell asleep. K-True, boo. Yeah, so That's what I have to say about that as far as the Super Bowl. But you know what? Hey, we're back at it again. The Titans right now, they came out with the odds for next year. The Titans are right now 60-1 odds to get to the Super Bowl next season. And for like bravado, it's like plus 6,000 or something like that. So, Titans get the Super Bowl, somebody can make a bet, make a lot of money. So never know. I'm going out to Vegas this summer. I may have to put a bet on the Titans for this upcoming season. Maybe bet that they'll win 10 games, or see if Marcus can make it through 16 games. I don't know, but we're definitely gonna look to next season. So that's really all I got to say about the Super Bowl. It was kind of a snooze fest. Even the commercials were kind of weak, to be perfectly honest. Although I will admit, the Bumble commercial with Serena Williams was really cool. I definitely have to admit, I love the Bud Light commercial with them killing off the Bud Knight, with the Game of Thrones reference coming in, as far as the dragon basically burning the Bud Knight. So that was actually incredible with that. I like that because I love Game of Thrones. I can't wait for that final season to come out. Now, one of the worst commercials I saw was it was the Burger King commercial. And it was supposed to be kind of old school or something like that. And it was I think the guy said he wanted McDonald's or something like that, but then he ended up at Burger King. I don't even understand it. I thought it sucked. I thought a lot of the Super Bowl commercials sucked, in my honest opinion. I wasn't really big on any of the commercials. Like I said, the Serena one, the Bud Light commercial, I thought those were probably the two best ones. I think I think there was a Pepsi commercial. I think that one might have been okay. But other than that, I wasn't really too impressed with the Super Bowl commercials. So that's really much I got to say about that. K-True says, so the South and the West has heavy rain and the North and East has frigid snow. Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. So it looks like it's crazy weather everywhere. So again, everybody, please be careful. And definitely everybody be safe with that. Avengers Endgame. I can't wait for that either. And Captain Marvel. Those are a couple of good movies I am definitely looking forward to seeing. But let's not get off the rails of the subject. That was the Super Bowl that I wanted to get my thoughts on with that. But let's move on to Titans news. And so, I don't know if any of y'all watched any of the press conference, but the Titans introduced officially Arthur Smith as the offensive coordinator. He had a press conference yesterday, and I'm going to try to pull up some footage of that press conference and try to see if I can I think I can give a little bit of play. So give me a second.
Well, I've been very fortunate. When I got hired here in 2011 with Mike Munchak and Jerry Gray, I was able to learn from a lot of people. And luckily, I just kind of kept my head down and tried to do a good job at the job they gave me. I started out as a defensive quality control here. And I was fortunate enough, Munch moved me over to offense, worked with the offensive line and the tight ends, and then I made it through Wiz. Thankfully, he kept me. And then my role just expanded. Mike Malarkey came in here.
Now, that was just a little bit of the beginning. Basically, he was saying, he came in, he started off as a quality control coach on the defensive side. He also did quality control on the offensive side as well. And I kind of explained this a couple of videos back, but just in case anybody missed it, as a quality control coach, the main job of that is that you basically help break down film of the opponent. You break down film of the opponent, you see what their tendencies are. So like on offense, let's just say, for example, the Rams, they may break down how many times do they run the outside zone with Todd Gurley, or how often do they run screens? Look at the alignment of the offensive line. How do they block and things like that? And so with quality control, it helps prepare. It helps bring a presentation to the offensive coordinator and to the staff, or the defensive coordinator if you're on the defensive side, and to that staff as to how you could game plan for a particular opponent. So he did that as starting off. And then he also, of course, was an assistant offensive line coach because he was a former offensive lineman, and also was the assistant tight ends coach under Wisenhunt, and of course was the tight ends coach under Malarkey. And then Vrabel decided to keep him as well. So Arthur has a lot of knowledge. He's been here the whole time. Marcus has been drafted the majority of the time that Delaney has been here. Taylor Lewan, Jack Conklin. So he has a lot of knowledge of this team. So I thought this was a very smart hire for the Tennessee Titans to hire him. And this is just some stuff that I got from this. Basically, he's preferring to stay within this system. He wants to hit the ground running when the team comes back in April, on April the 15th. He says, and this is one of the most important things, the terminology and the scheme is not going to change. And that is a great thing. Even though this will be Marcus Mariota's 5th offensive coordinator, this will be the first time. This will be his 2nd year in this particular system. They're not changing anything because even Vrabel said it on some radio shows this morning. He said it's a lot easier to come in April and be able to just develop and continue and pick up where you left off in the playbook from last season, as opposed to trying to, install and learn a whole brand new system. And then because you got to learn a whole new system, you got to learn the calls, you got to learn the terminology, you got to learn the alignments, and then you got to try to develop, which that may not get into play until like training camp, because you got to get everything down. And it still may take over half a year to get all of that down. So I like the fact that the scheme and the terminology and everything is going to stay the same. He basically says, no change in the language. Just keep your head down, keep working. He basically mentioned some stuff as far as helping Marcus stay healthy, as far as maybe changing launch points, changing protections, things that they could do as far as him being an offensive coordinator, and other coaches that can help protect Marcus and keep it so that he makes it through 16 games. So that's some stuff that he really talked about. He also mentioned that, he wants to improve the whole offense, not just Marcus, but the entire offense, the offensive line, the receivers, the tight ends, the running backs. He also said Derrick Henry would be a big part of this offense. He says he's a home run threat. He's a home run hitter. He's a major weapon. And so I like that. You got to have a consistent running game, because if you can't run the ball, eventually you're not going to be able to set up play action to pass the ball. And if you can't do that, you got to be able to score some points. And that's something that Arthur Smith is being charged to do. I'm just going to read a couple other comments. Let's see. Joseph said, you got it, man. Didn't watch the Super Bowl, but last night, Predators home game was more entertaining. Of course, the Predators did beat the Coyotes 5-2, the Arizona Coyotes. So, definitely like that. With the Predators winning, of course, they made some trades earlier as well. Let's see. Juan only said, man, I can't wait to see what he's going to do. I think he's going to do great. If we stay healthy, I see it's at 11-5. Now, again, my guy Jared and the GM has many times said he expects this team to go 12-4. I think he's asking a bit too much. I think 11-5 can be the ceiling. I think there will be some losses, like to Kansas City, New Orleans, could be a loss. Definitely. I think there's some games that they're not supposed to win that they can win. As long as they beat the Buffaloes and the Clevelands and things like that, then yeah, 11-5, I think it's a ceiling. I think they could get there. I expect them to at least get to 10-6. That's what I think, no matter what. Some other things I got from the press conference. He basically says for the offensive line, we want to be physical. He said we want to be physical and push people back, instead of them pushing us back. So they definitely got to get more physical up front, especially in the interior of the offensive line. And Derrick Henry, if he's going to be a big part of the offense, he needs to start off September the way he ended the season and take it all the way through. If he does that, I think without a doubt in my mind, Derrick Henry's running for at least 1,300 to 1,400 yards rushing and maybe 15 touchdowns if he does that. If he can be consistent the whole season, sky's the limit. This guy will be dangerous, and that much is the truth with that. So he says we'll have a game plan, but wants to be able to adjust if needed. So he basically saying, we'll have a game plan in place, but we got to be able to adjust and adapt to the situation if the game plan goes south. And that is absolutely right. You got to be able to have contingencies if something goes wrong. And I think the Titans as a whole last year did a pretty good job of that, with the exception of a couple of games, Indianapolis, Houston, for example. They did not adjust very well. But most games, they kind of adjusted pretty well when they needed to. Let's see. He basically says, hey, there is no particular ratio on passes or runs. Like, he didn't say nothing about 60-40 pass to run, or he didn't say there's a set number, because matchups can dictate that. So he basically wants to be balanced. He wants to use play action to set up the pass and things like that, which I'm okay with. So I like the fact that he has a plan, he has a strategy, he has an idea, and he wants this to evolve to the player. And he seemed very passionate, wants to be explosive and things like that. You could be explosive in the run game. It doesn't have to just come from the passing game. You could be explosive in the run game as well. So that's something that, that's work cut out for him. Brandon says, what's good? Hopefully we get some consistency on offense and a wide receiver step up more with Walker coming back. Hopefully Walker does come back 100% and they do get another receiver to go along with Corey Davis that could be major, and maybe somebody that could push Taywan Taylor, Tajay Sharp, either push them to be better or push them out of the way. And K True says, I love this hire. I trust what Delaney says. Future Super Bowl champions, Titanic ring coming home to PT Town. I'm not sure exactly what that says, but, Titanic ring, I understand that. Let's see, demotivation. Who do you think we need to go after in free agency? Now, free agency, like I said, I'm going to get to probably at the end of the month after, probably around the combine is really when I'm really going to dig into free agency more. K-True Pomona Town, California. Okay, now I got you. Okay, appreciate that. But I'm definitely going to talk more free agency, in particular players. But I think as far as positions, definitely if they can find, if they can get like a Roger Saffold from the Rams if he leaves on the offensive line, definitely could use another wide receiver if Golden Tate doesn't resign in Philly. He could be a good guy, and you can have him as the number 2 or number 3. On the defensive side, there's a lot of big-time defensive players. Danny Shelton is a guy I want. I would love to get Danny Shelton if he does not resign in New England. I would love to get him. He would be in the middle of the defensive line along with Jarrell Casey, because I think we got to focus on the defensive line. And also, I don't think Ndamukong Suh leaves LA, but I think if he does, he definitely will want to come here. I think I would see that. I could see that happening. Or we trade for Leonard Williams. If you give me Danny Shelton and they trade for Leonard Williams, I will tell you, as a man, I would be in love. I would be in love with that defensive line. Jarrell Casey, Danny Shelton, Leonard Williams. I would absolutely go crazy for that. That's something I would love to see. And of course, we need some outside pass rush help. I know a lot of people are talking about Zadarius Smith from the Ravens if he gets away. But the thing I kind of wonder about, is was he just a one-hit wonder this past season? Now, Dean Pease has familiarity with them. It would be the same scheme that he was running in Baltimore, but he had, maybe 3.5 sacks as a rookie. Then he had like 1 sack because he missed games. And then he had he had 5.5 sacks as a rookie. Then he had like 1, and then he had 3.5, and then he comes up to 8.5. So I don't know if that was because of contract year or something like that. So I don't know if he was a one-hit wonder. I hope he's not. But, I mean, we could definitely take a look at him and definitely see if he's the type of guy that we could pay some money to, because he'll get paid. That much is a fact. So we'll definitely have to see about that. But that's what I would look at. Interior offensive line, defensive line, edge rusher, wide receiver. Those are my top needs. And a backup quarterback, Tyrod Taylor will be the guy for me as far as a backup quarterback, because he's a guy that can at least win you about 3 or 4 games if you need him to. So that's where I would go. But I definitely liked the Arthur Smith press conference a lot. I think he was definitely a good hire. Dean Pease, on his side, he basically says, I like fast guys. I like physical, tough. He likes, he was talking about the reference to when John Robinson was talking about wolves, nasty. He said, I want physical, tough guys, but within the rules. And I think, John Robinson, of course, would mention, play within the rules, play to the whistle and things like that. But I think DPs is saying, look, don't go overboard. Don't, unnecessary roughness and, defensive holding and, hands to the face mask and all that. He's saying, I want nasty, but disciplined nasty, something like that. I said I would like to see this team become Music City nasty, or no, not Music City nasty, Nashville nasty. That's what I want to see. I want to see Music City mayhem. That's what I want to call this defense, MCM, Music City mayhem, or just plain Nashville nasty. That's what I'm looking for. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. He said, improve on the success, continue to get better. He says, there was no doubt he was coming back. He got everything with his health taken care of. He's okay. He's like, I'm focused on this team now. And that's something that I really, really liked coming from Dean P. So all in all, a couple of good press conferences there. Let's see. K. True said Danny Shelton never thought about that, but I'm sure New England would try to keep Flowers so that does work. And that's another guy, Trey Flowers. He could be a pretty good 3-4 defensive end or an outside linebacker. That might be a nice pickup, but I don't know. Again, he could be a one-hit wonder also. But I want to know what you guys think. Anybody that heard the press conference or heard some of the comments, what did y'all think of Arthur Smith? K. True already said, I love this hire. I'm starting to like this hire too. And I mean, he's passionate about the game. He ain't about the money. He said, this is where I wanted to be. I wanted to be a coordinator. So I don't think he's going to jump and run to try to be a head coach somewhere. I think he's, in good shape. And I mean, money-wise, he don't need no type of money whatsoever. I mean, he is one of the princes to the throne, to one of the biggest thrones in the country, FedEx. His father is Fred freaking Smith, owner of FedEx. So Arthur Smith got money. Arthur Smith got money on top of 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 money, infinity. So FedEx is a huge corporation, multi-billion-dollar. So money, Arthur Smith ain't one for no money. So I think he just loves the game. And so that's a good sign for us too. I think he'll stick around for some years. So I definitely like the hire. Love the fact Dean Pease is coming back. Definitely. And we just got to build. You know, it's always been said it's easy to go from 3-13 or 4-12 to 9-7 or 10-6, but it is very, very difficult to go from 9-7 to 10-6 or 11-5, or to get from 10-6 to 12-4 or 13-3. Very, very difficult to do that. Extremely difficult. But you know, we're heading in the right direction. So that's something I would definitely hope to see continuing going forward. And we'll talk about off-season priorities and things like that probably on the next show. What would be the top priority? Definitely, as far as those positions: interior offensive line, pass rusher, defensive line, wide receiver, backup quarterback. And another thing I would say is a off priority: re-signing Kevin Byard. That is a huge priority because Kevin Byard's going into the fourth and final year of his rookie deal. They need to lock him up right away. Get him locked up so he's here long term. So yeah, Kevin Byard has to be re-signed long term. Definitely. K True saying Music City Mayhem. Man, I love that. We'll see March 13th, and that is the beginning of free agency. I definitely like Music City Mayhem, and I also I want to get that started. So when y'all are sharing this show, or y'all are commenting, whether it's on Facebook or Twitter, let's go hashtag Nashville Nasty or hashtag Music City Mayhem. Let's get that started and let's get that trending. So I'm definitely going to get that trending as well. I definitely like that. Demotivate said, honestly, I don't know what to think about the hire. So many people have came and disappointed. I think all the guys we get that's new that comes in says all the right things in their press conference. Now that's true. A lot of times some coaches win the press conference and then suck at the job. We've had some guys try to keep Marcus healthy and it didn't work. But I think Arthur has the advantage because he's been here for almost 8 years. He's been here. He's been through everything. Maybe he's made some suggestions, but now he can help Marcus stay healthy. He can help continue to improve the tight end group that he had doing well above their means with Delaney Walker out. As a former offensive lineman, he can help the offensive line, things like that. So it's a wait and see. He hasn't called a play yet. So that's going to be the major point, is when he has to call plays. D Motivation also said, I need to see these people produce more than just talking. Tired of the talking. And I understand that. I agree. Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. You got to say what you mean and mean what you say. So I agree with that totally, D09. They got to back up the talk. And, LaFleur didn't back it up. And, Jason Michael didn't back it up. Robinski didn't back it up. So, yeah, it's time to produce. So we're definitely going to find out if Arthur Smith is any good as an offensive coordinator. But, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. If y'all have any other questions for me, y'all can also hit me up off the air, and I'll definitely answer those for you and things like that. I want to see if I have a few other questions before we get to the end with the blue bombshell. Let's see. Just looking at just trying to see if there's a few questions on Facebook and stuff like that. So let's see. Okay. But yeah, looks like I didn't see any other questions on there. But if y'all have some questions, if you catch it later, just definitely hit up any of my pages. I'll definitely be glad to answer them for you. But let's get to the blue bombshell of the week and to end the show. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to end this show in a bad mood because what I want to talk about is Nashville traffic. And it is absolutely horrific. I hate Nashville traffic. I love the city of Nashville. I love living here. I love being here. I hate the traffic. The traffic is absolutely horrible. I mean, the way the system is set up is bad. People act like they don't know how to drive. They want to drive slow as all get out. You know, the speed limit is 55 miles an hour, and people out here driving 20 miles an hour. And every time they see an accident, it's like they want to go, ooh, and take a look at the accident. I'm like, if the accident is, and the worst thing about this traffic is that there's no accident on the interstate. Like, if there is an accident, it's already off to the side of the road and stuff like that. Yet people want to just stop and stare and look. I'm like this. If the accident does not concern you, if you're not in the accident, drive on by. We ain't got time for you to stop so you can take a look at an accident and holding up traffic. Drive. And I don't know why is it like this every single morning? Why is it like that every single morning? I have to get up and go an hour 15 to hour 15 minutes to an hour and a half to get to my job every day. I live in Laverne and I work in Metro Center close to downtown Nashville. That is at least an hour and 15 minutes. And today, because of that, I was a little bit behind. And I hate that. I mean, it was almost gridlock. And then it's the same thing coming home. It's like you spend nearly 3 hours driving each day going to and from work. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. I can't stand it. I mean, people, just drive. The speed limit is 55. You should be driving at least 50 if you don't want to go over the limit. But I'm like, come on, people. Drive. It is completely, utterly insane when accidents ain't even on the road and traffic is slow, or traffic is slow going in both directions of the interstate. I mean, it just had me so angry going into work this morning and then so exhausting coming home. So I hate Nashville traffic. I hate Nashville traffic. So if I had to give a dunce of the day, you know, to anybody or anything, I give a dunce of the day to Nashville drivers. I give it to all of y'all. And I know I'm a Nashville driver too, but for those especially who keep holding up traffic, wherever you are, it's wrong. Stop it. Stop it. Okay? Tired of that. As Chris Rock would say, tired. Fee-fi-fo-fum, I hate Nashville traffic. That's how I feel about that. So, in the end, like I said, I didn't have a real deep show to run in on. I didn't really have a whole deep show to run in on tonight. So that's basically about it. Everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all share this show out. On Facebook, TNT Enforcers. Definitely Chris A. Newell. Share them out to all the Titan pages. Twitter at TNT Blue Enforcer. Instagram at Titans and Truth. Titans_in_truth. Definitely share them out. And we're definitely going to get into some football 101. We're definitely going to get into some off-season stuff and getting prepared for the combine that's going to be coming up in a few weeks. So everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. This is your boy, Blue Enforcer. I wish y'all a good night, and I am out.